And hello, viewers. Thank you for tuning in. Again, we were unable to go live, but the show must go on, so we're recording this seminar. I would like to introduce you to some of my friends, dance teachers from around the country. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Welcome. I think I'll start with Christopher and Anita. Whoever wants to speak, or if you'd like to split it in half, tell everybody where your school is and how long you've been at this.
You want to go, Anita?
Okay, sure. My grandmother was a dancer. My mom started the studio 60 years ago, and we're located in a suburb of Milwaukee in Muskego, Wisconsin. And I have two sons, one being Christopher, that I help run the business.
Awesome. Christopher, you got anything to add to that?
Nope. I just enjoy being third generation and love working with the family in the industry, a great industry.
I love that you guys are third generation too. I have a kinship to that. Debbie, tell everybody where your school is and where you're from.
My school is North Andover School of Dance, and I am from north of Boston in North Andover, Massachusetts. And I've had my school for 44 years.
44 years. And in your 44 years, you've never experienced anything like this, I assume.
No, there's been a lot of situations and a lot of things that have happened, but never anything like this. Never. I would have never dreamed this. But it's a new experience, so it's good.
Understood. And that's the good way to look at it. Michelle Soutier.
Yes.
Tell us where your school is.
I have two locations. One is in Charlotte, North Carolina, and my second location is in Fort Mill, South Carolina, but they're not that far apart, about 20 minutes door to door.
And how long have you been at this, Miss?
This is my 26th year.
Okay, 26, 44. Anita, what'd you say, 60 something or what?
60th anniversary.
Woo.
Okay, so we got a lot to celebrate tonight. I won't say much more than over 100 years experience.
Wow.
We'll leave it at that. I'd love to hear what you're doing in your schools to either keep them running or what your strategy has been for the past few weeks. Debbie, would you start us off?
Sure. So we closed on March 13th, which was that Friday. And on that Saturday, no classes, I convened my team together and we put a strategy and a plan together. So then on Monday, the 16th, I went live, Zoom classes, all of them, which was probably about 100, 110 classes. And they were at the scheduled time that the children would take their normal classes. At that point, we were still able to be in our studio, like they didn't shut down the brick and mortar, you know? So my teachers came to the studio and did the classes at the studio. So it's been 4 weeks now that we've been doing, you know, the virtual classes. My plan has changed a little bit in those 4 weeks, but yep, 4 weeks.
What are you feeling after 4 weeks? Are you thinking that your clientele is appreciating it? Are they into it, or some questioning it? What's that like?
Well, I think after the first couple of weeks, there were a lot of questions, and not everybody was, you know, I had to seek them out to get them on board. I think going forward now, these last 2 weeks, we've kind of settled in a little bit. And I don't know if parents in their homes are really adapting to the schedule because it's so different for them to be there, but I'm really tracking my enrollment or my attendance, I should say, and it seems to be going okay. I have changed my plan a little bit. I have changed my strategy of what I'm teaching in the classes, but it seems we've settled in, and we'll just keep plugging along and change it up all the time to keep them engaged and keep them wanting to come back. So that's where I am at this point. You know, I don't know how long I'm going to have to do this for, though.
I gotcha. Michelle, what has been your strategy?
Well, I've got 4 ways they can reach Miller Street. The first one is the same weekend that Debbie did, I called my staff in and we started pre-recording classes so that we could edit videos and send for every class that people were paying for. So they get a class on the day that their class is held, and it's up for 40 hours. So they've got flexibility when they watch it. The second is we're doing live Zooms. We have about 40 a day now. Everything from recital, choreography for each class to turns classes, mornings with Miss Michelle where I read to them, things like that. I have 2 supplemental pages up on my website. They're password protected, but one is for downloadable, printable things, coloring sheets and cool things that I got from Idea and that type of thing. And the second one is a supplemental dance page so that it's videos of how to do a pirouette turn, hip hop combinations, everything. Every week on Wednesday and Saturday, we add to that. So we were planning for 8 weeks, so that at the end of 8 weeks, we will have hundreds of videos up that they can watch day or night. So I may have overkilled it, not going to lie. But I am a maximalist. So I was in panic mode. So I just wanted to make sure they're getting more than what they're paying for, because, you know, I'm giving them a percentage off of tuition this month, but I've given them more than they've ever paid for sure.
Okay, you brought up something I want to go into, and I am coming back to Anita and Chris. We'll get deeper into it in a second, but how much percentage did you give off in the month of April?
I did 50% off of April, and I deferred that as well. So you get 50% off right off the top. And if you are not able to pay it, you can defer it. And if you would like to be scholarshiped, we will match a scholarship donor to you, meaning if Rhee Gold is a dancer here and he says, you know what, I want to pay my 50% tuition, but I want to scholarship a dancer and I want to give the other half to them, I immediately do that. I knew a lot of my parents that lost their jobs, waitresses and people on bar staff and that sort of thing. So I immediately went on and scholarshiped them first. But the email went out that they could request scholarships if they had lost their jobs. But I have to tell you, Rhee, I live in a very affluent area where most people here are doctors, nurses. Banking is huge. You know, Charlotte is the second largest to New York City. So most of my families have not lost their jobs.
We'll talk a little.
Back to that.
Yeah, I know. You and I had a talk earlier that I found really interesting in regards to that. Christopher and Anita, what is your strategy? You waited a little while, right?
We did. We have a different system altogether with 10 studios in-house. Our kids pay by the week, and there's no charge if absent. And I've been...
Wait. I just need our listeners to know that Anita and I have stayed friends for a long time. Even though she charges her kids every week. We've talked and talked and talked. But I've been to your studio and it's so successful. What am I to say? But they do pay every week, right?
They do. And what's so interesting in all of this is I reflect back to my mother, and she took dance when she was 4 in the Great Depression, and her dad drove a bus. If she had the dime, she went to her dance class at 4, and the teacher's name was June Dussel. So when my mom started the studio, she wanted to make sure we're in a very, very rural area that every child could dance. So because of that, we gave everyone a little break so we could regroup, and thanks to Christopher. And we have also, as you're all feeling, just the most incredible team that came together, and we decided to launch, and Christopher can talk about the Zoom 2 studios, and it's 4 weeks for $40. So we've actually charged ahead for this just because it would be easier. And every age group has something else. I'm proud of
you, Anita.
But I have all the teachers kind of at the same time. But I didn't feel ready to launch 10 studios virtually.
Hey, It's okay. You did good. Christopher, describe what's going on. 10 studios have shrunk down to 2. Tell us your strategy.
Yeah, so our biggest thing was we had a late spring break in April, so we moved that to that March 15th. So our first week was our spring break, just so we could get our feet under us. So we waited 2 weeks. So this is our start of our 3rd week right now. And so we took I think we have 28 classes now in the week. And so we kind of focused on the classes that we could easily teach. And then we went to a strictly 50-minute class period. So each teacher has 5 minutes to log in and 5 minutes to log out. So we run Monday through Thursday and then Saturday morning, but it's 4 to 8 on the weekdays and then 8 a.m. to 1 on Saturday, but they're just strictly 50 minutes right now, just so we can get the turnover.
And is it combined like 7, 8-year-old tap? All kids in that level are taking that particular class?
So we have some specific ballet classes and then we have our company classes, but yeah, we set it up where we grouped them in the age groups so they could kind of fill in where they feel best for them. But we didn't want to overwhelm our clients, so we did it with a small group. And then this next session, starting in a couple weeks, we'll launch more classes.
And I feel really comfortable that June 1st we can go back into the studios and then complete our recital dances either virtually, because I'm really confident, Christopher, that we can do 10 studios at the same time now, or they can come in. So that's an unknown.
I have to jump in and just say, how about 5, Christopher? Your mother seems a little limpy.
I really think we can do all 10.
Okay.
And then I told people we're hoping to have recitals at July or August. And you know, it might be a very casual setting. We usually have 22 different recitals. I don't know, maybe I have to have a class every hour in the studio, maybe an outside venue. I don't know.
So let me ask you a question, because a lot of our viewers are really worried about the recital. Give some advice, Anita, Michelle, Debbie, on what Anita just said, which is it's okay not to know at this time. Am I right? Are you nervous? What are your thoughts?
Who you want to go first?
I will say one more thing. I think it's one size will not fit all depending on your location. Studios, certainly in the New York area, I don't know what to say. We're in a very rural area, so I think really a lot of it will depend on the location.
Okay. Michelle, go for it.
Well, I have a Providence location because it's on Providence Road, and the Baxter location because it's in a village, Baxter Village. So in Providence is my original main location. And we have 1,500 students at that one, and then we have 1,000 at Baxter. So this is like the Titanic that I'm trying to steer here. And so Baxter's recital's always been the second weekend in May, and I jumped and changed it to the 3rd week of June. And about 3 of my parents, 3 out of 1,000, scolded me because they wanted to take vacation that week. They already had a vacation planned, and I'm thinking, you're not going, but I didn't say it. So long story short, I changed it to that so it would buy me time. Their tuition for June will be free. So those 3 weeks going into their recitals will be free. And I've told them that. No one said thank you, but it is free for them getting ready for that. But I am expecting to be able to go in my venue just because our numbers of cases aren't as high in North Carolina. So I feel like we'll be able to come back, but in order for us to do the social distancing and what we need to do, I'll hold it in that location, but I will rotate from stations. So I will put a station outside with a TV so they can see what's going on the stage. Then they will move into the lobby where they drop their child off. Then they'll move into the auditorium where they stand. They don't sit. They watch the 2 or 3 dances, whatever they let me bring in, whether it's 50, 100, or 500 people. and I will run 2, 3, 4, 5 dances. Then they will exit stage left, get their trophy. If they have another dance to go, they go around and do it again. Because I give, I've got a lot, every day has their own recital. And when you've got two studios going, every day is a lot of days. So, it's like she said, it's according to your area and what works for your area. And you don't need to feel like if it's right or wrong, because I'm doing what I feel like is right for my clientele.
I do want to say that this is a time when we all have to be super creative and let go of what our conception of a recital has been for the last 50 years, and kind of evaluate that what this is kids feeling like they made it, and they made it to the end, and they got to wear their costume, and somebody got to take a picture of them, even if they were outside while the kid was dancing on the stage. We do have to think out of the box, and people.
We do. And looking at this as a business person, if I have to refund over 6,500 costumes because we can't have recital, Miss Michelle's going to have a nervous breakdown, and this will be a whole nother thing. So I am really praying that I can have them. So I will be creative and I will make it amazing. And I encourage everyone, when you're doing whatever recital you have, whether it's in-house or in a venue or whatever, is, before the kids go on stage, I'm going to get my iPhone and interview them. How are you feeling? Blah, blah, blah. And then whenever they edit all of these videos, I'm going to edit that into the beginning as they're going on the stage, and I will turn my iPhone to look at them going onto the stage, and then the dance will start. So I have thousands of ideas of how I'm going to make this look amazing on video. So when people look back, they're like, this wasn't so bad, and also the parents will be seeing that out in all of these different sections, keeping everyone apart, because honestly, we have to make people feel safe. And that's part of this.
I agree.
At re-entry.
Re-entry. Yeah. That's a big word.
Yes, it is the biggest word I've ever said.
Debbie, what are you thinking? I know that it could change in 3 days, but what are you thinking?
So I'm thinking that I'm not going to be able to have my recital the end of May, beginning of June. So right now it's pushed out to the fall. But I'm also going to think outside of the box. And if I can't go into my 1,200 seat auditorium to have my recitals, I can vision myself being in my parking lot, a tent or a floor or something where class by class, just that family or those families will stand, the same thing, stand in the parking lot. I'll get a tent or something. I'm not sure. Haven't figured that out yet. And then I'll just do my recital that way. Each class will come in on a nice sunny day.
I have 2 comments on that, Debbie. First, when you say parking lot, everybody knows you're from this.
Oh, my park.
It's like they made fun of us in a commercial recently, and you just lived up to it with that parking lot a couple times. But I want to ask you this a little more serious. How'd your parents react to in October? What did you say? Fall is what you said.
Fall.
How'd they react to that?
No yet. They don't know yet. I just found out that they pushed my recital out, so I have not released that information yet, that I'm pushing. I'm really pushing for the fall in the auditorium if I could.
Okay.
But
Can I
decided when I'm going to tell. Go ahead.
I want to ask you this question. What have you thought about seniors? Because whenever I hear somebody discussing September or October as their possibility, they stop and they go, but my seniors, what are you thinking?
I haven't figured that out either. I'm heartsick for my seniors. They'll be gone. Okay. I'm trying now to do something to feature them right now, to give them a little spotlight, but I don't think I'm going to have a choice, to be honest with you. I don't see myself being able to do this in June in my parking lot, but if I could, that that's probably what I would do. But if not, no, parking lot. But then, I know I'm hot sick. I'm hot sick for those kids. I've got 15 seniors that won't be graduating, so.
I got you. But they will never forget. It's tough for these kids, right? But they're in a historical moment that when they're older and they make it through this, they're going to be able to tell their children and their grandchildren. It's like those stories. I walked a mile for this. What these kids are going through now is tough, but they are literally living through history. It will be done in a new way.
I had a Zoom meeting with them. I try to stay connected with my kids, and I had a Zoom meeting with all the seniors last week just to find out how you're feeling. What can we do? Talk to us. Let's share, and just to stay. So it's tough for them.
Gotcha. So, Michelle, tell me, as a businesswoman who's worked really hard to build your empire in North and South Carolina, what have you learned about yourself?
I've learned I can do anything. And it really, it's built my self-esteem because I'm here in my house, not with all my assistants. And you've been to the studio and you see how it works. Like if I even make a peep, everybody comes running. And, when the copier gets jammed, I just squeal like a pig and everybody comes running. So I haven't had that. So really becoming more independent has been amazing. I'm no longer Wilbur from Charlotte's Web. And I feel like I can handle most things. And I feel like that I'm good under stress, and I've been good under stress many, many times, as you know, because you and I've lived a lot of years together. But I really do feel like I handle it because when staff was in turmoil and everything, I kept calm and was able to pull everybody back in and make it happen because I really pushed my staff to the limits. And
would they say over limits or?
They would say over limits. Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
But I paid them handsomely.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, and Anita, what have you learned?
That I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was. And I thought I was a tough old broad, but I'm even tougher than that.
In what way? What surprised you? I'm digging deeper into your psyche.
That to me, nothing else matters but good health for my family and my friends. Nothing is more important than that. And I look at our business as a family farm, and we plant in the fall, we harvest in the spring and summer, and I'm just trying to save it. And the first couple days I was pretty numb, but I thought, okay, how am I going to make this work? And I always say, how am I going to make this work? And we're making it work.
Christopher, what do you think about how you've made it through? And if I can ask about what you think of your mom making it through this?
First, let's talk with who got us here, Anita. She's spectacular.
Are you recording this?
Yeah, I
am. Don't worry, Anita. I got it.
She's done a good job captaining the ship and leading all of us through, which isn't easy, which has made me realize that the strength that my brother and I have is even better than where it was and how well we can work together. It's not always easy working for a family business, especially as close as my family is. And so the strength of how much Jonathan and I have gotten done is amazing to me.
That's awesome. And everybody on this call, because I know everybody so well, including myself, we know what family business is about. And that it isn't always the easiest thing. So I'm really happy to hear you say that, Christopher. Debbie, what has surprised you about yourself?
I think that I found that I'm more grateful for my business, for the people in my business, for my kids, my staff and the parents, and that I learned a lot about technology that I didn't know before that I can do now. But I seem to appreciate the days, and I appreciate who's in my life and the business I've created a little bit more than I had realized before. So there's good days and there's bad days. There's ups and downs. There's highs and lows. There's all of that. But I miss being in my studio, and I love to go to my studio every single day and see the kids. And I'm missing that. But I think I'm more resilient than I was. And
I'm going to dig a little deeper on what you just said, because we talked a little bit earlier. You were trying to figure out an exit strategy before the pandemic came.
Yeah.
Tell everybody how that changed a little.
I'm not doing that now because I'm not staying home anymore. So, I was.
That's how quick it can change, listeners or viewers.
My goodness.
I'm staying home. I'm not. So I'm going back to the studio. Like I was thinking about retiring. I've been doing this for 44 years. My husband's 66, and we've got some grandchildren now. And I was starting to think about maybe, in the next couple of years, putting that plan together. I don't think I can do that. I think I want to do that. I think I just need to get back to the studio.
Good for you.
I miss it. I walk around my house all day, when I'm not monitoring all these live classes that are going on in Zoom. I'm like, okay, I just gotta go to the studio. So, and I go there and nobody's there, and I walk into the show and I'm walking around myself and going, okay, all right, time to go home, whatever. So I'm grateful.
I got it. I went last night to an office that we rented or moved into about a week before the pandemic. So we weren't even really moved in. And I went there last night because I needed internet access. I didn't have any at home. And it was kind of lonely. It was like, wow, we got all these desks set up. We're ready to go. And there's nothing happening. It's a strange feeling when you walk into your business.
But Rhee, at the end of this, and I'm sure I'm speaking for everybody on this call, I want to be a beacon of hope, and I want to be the fun thing. I want to be the thing that everybody said, the one thing that pulled me through was Miss Michelle's mornings of reading to me, where I've got my dog dressed in a pink shirt that matches mine. You know what I'm saying? And as cheesy and crazy as that sounds, I see that constantly. And we're leaders in our community, and I want young girls to see what a woman can do, take a bad situation. And, I'm having a fantastic lemonade party after this is over, because we made lemonade out of lemons, people. Everyone's going to have yellow on, and it's going to be a big celebration. And I feel like little girls need to see that. And you don't need to be woe is me. And anytime I see anything where people are crying and upset, I completely don't watch it, because I need to keep my positivity up, because I've got little people watching. And that happened when I had cancer. Next thing I knew, every little 3-year-old had a little pink ribbon on their leotard, because I wanted to spread awareness and I was using them. And you can stay home and be sad about everything, but this won't be our first or our last disappointment. And that's what I've told all the kids through everything. And spend this time doing really good deeds. And so if we can push that to the kids, and I said, if you get mad at mom, stick your head in the pillow and cry about it, but don't get mad at her. And of course, all these moms start calling, thanks for the advice, it's working. The little things that we're saying on these videos, thanking your parents when they get off for providing this video for you. I didn't provide it for you, they did. So it's just us being the leaders in the community for these little dancers, because we're way more than dance. Like, I don't care if they grow up and be dancers or not. There'll be enough of those out there. I need them to grow up and be amazing citizens. So that's the cool part about all of this. And let's face it, something positive has come out of this for most of us. If we've not lost someone that we really love, we've had positivity. I've got my college-age daughter home with me, working in the business. And she's now decided she probably doesn't want to because this is a lot of stress, but she's in there doing Zoom classes and my extra time with her. So it's just us deciding that we're going to be okay with this.
That was an excellent motivational talk, Ms. Michelle. I was watching both Anita and Debbie nodding their heads yes. What are your thoughts in that area, Anita? What do you say to a dance teacher out there who feels a little beaten up right now?
Well, I was hoping someone would not ask me that, because every time I go into a studio, it's like, oh, you can do this. Dance like nobody's watching. Make it work. Okay, and I see these teachers and all they do is complain, and they complain to their teachers. Okay, yes, it's very difficult. And Christopher wouldn't let me wear, I have a hat here tonight. It's a captain's hat, like a boat. And I like that when Michelle mentioned the Titanic. Okay, Christopher, we are the captains of the ship. It is some rough water. The roughest probably we'll ever face, but I'm not gonna sink. We are gonna keep this boat. And Christopher just bought a boat a couple days ago. We're going out on the boat. I love boats. I love that analogy, but this is not a time to be complaining about Susie's mom said this. This is a time of life preservers, lifeboats. What do we need to do to keep this boat above? And when they start complaining, and I'm so sorry, Rhee, but I can't take it. They don't want drama in their studio. They don't want drama because I am no drama. No drama allowed in our studio. So Susie's mom said this. I'm like, okay, you're becoming what you hate. So right now, what I really think is teachers, if you're having a bad day, you don't want to put makeup on, don't. If you want to cry all day, it's okay to feel like that. But this is show business. And when you're on Zoom and you're talking to your staff, everything's great. And I got a captain's hat here, Christopher would let me put it on.
And a hallelujah too.
Christopher, we are going to get this boat. It is a freaking hurricane. We are batting down the hatches. I don't want to hear another complaint from any teacher. You know, not everybody's going to survive. You know, you have to make it work. Put all those positive things you have written all over your walls at your studio to work. Now is the time.
Amen, sister.
Yeah.
Sorry, you asked.
I don't know, Debbie, I don't know how you're going to live up to it, but what do you say to the teacher who is maybe in your place 44 years and they're wondering, was this what I signed up for?
Yeah. Well, you know, there's a network of teachers in the Boston area that we talk often, and, you know, we'll get on the phone and somebody would call me like at 11 o'clock at night, and, you know, she'll be crying or I'm having a bad day or whatnot. And so we bounce off and we get through that. And then it's eyebrows up, as, you know, Michelle says all the times. And you know, you do. I mean, like I had, you know, my last staff meeting was this weekend just to connect and stay together and give them new ideas and new contents or whatever we were talking about. But I was the most positive person, and I was the most, you know, I don't say happy, but, you know, it was lightning to them, and I need to give them some support and so that we can go forward and get through this. You know, I mean, no one's going to see me crying. No one's going to see me down and out. No one's going to see all of that. They're going to see Miss Debbie the way she is.
Okay, so then I have to ask, because they're wondering, Christopher, you and I are going to talk about the male side of this in a second, but they're all wondering, as you gave your motivational speeches, you have broken down, right, ladies?
Oh, yes.
Not really.
I did a couple of times. I did.
No.
I'm not a crier.
No.
Because I just am not a crier, but I have gotten angry a few times, and the anger is always sparked by a parent saying something horrible. And I'm going to tell you, I am a researcher, so I always know where these parents work, and I've not had one mean parent who has lost their job. It's always been the ones that I know are still holding their positions, because I find out or I already know. And I get angry. And poor Harold, he'll tell you. But I just channel that energy. I just channel it. And I keep my head down and just keep doing my thing. I don't worry about what the other studios are doing. And even my staff says, well, what is such and such doing? What is it? We don't worry about them. We do what I want to do. And they're like, but we're doing a lot. Yes, we're doing a lot because we want to be standing. Just like Anita said, everyone won't make it through. And Rhee might get unhappy with this, but sometimes things shake out like they should. And I'm sorry, Rhee, but sometimes things do shake out. And unfortunately, they might get an opportunity to do something that they would enjoy more. Who knows? But I have to look at it like that too, because this is survival of the fit right now. And the thing is I put my head down and focused. And that is what Debbie did. I know this because I'm her girlfriend. I know that's what Anita did because I look at her son there smiling. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have to put your nose down and just go for it and say, right or wrong, I'm going to try it. And I've changed my path a few times along the way in how I was doing my Zooms and all this stuff because I wanted to make sure they got those weekly classes so they're getting what they paid for. Now, all this other is extra.
Yeah.
What do you think of this, Christopher, when you listen to them? I'll say this real fast. Strong women inspiring other women to be strong makes me smile because I know my mother needed more of that in her day. What are your thoughts, Christopher?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and you know, this is right at the point right now, and you know, Anita and I, you know, we work close. There's tension. There'll always be tension, but her and I will argue and get it over with and move on. Because you can't have it build up and just have the elephant in the room right now. You have to address the tension. And to me, that's one of the hardest things right now because you're only talking to your close people and you don't want to unload on them, but it's real and you got to deal with it and move on. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because everybody's stressed. There is not one person in this country that's not stressed right now.
What's funny about what you just said, and we're not going to go into any detail, but Michelle and I have a conversation once a week about how you just described. We won't go any further. We'll let our viewers wonder what that.
That'll be paid per view episodes.
It's healthy. You got to get rid of it.
You do. And you know, Christopher, my sister and my mother work for me. And my sister's 10 years younger and my mother's way older. And, you know, and so they, you know, we do the whole clash thing too, but then it's like, now let's get to work, you know, and I get it because we are all in family businesses. Like Debbie's got her son working there. Like we're all of us are perfectly matched here because we do have the family involved, but you know what? Those people love us to pieces and they want us to succeed and we want each other to thrive. And sometimes somebody combating you about something makes you look at things a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. That's very.
It's the backbone we all need right now in this family. And that's what's big. And that's why you're able to do it because, you know, the family bond is always there.
I love it.
I love it too.
It always reminds me of I always use the analogy of an Italian restaurant. Like we're all in the back making the spaghetti. Hurry up, get the garlic bread. You need to do it. The lasagna's burnt. We walk out and go, and here's your dinner. They don't see what goes on. But anybody better not say anything bad about one of our family members, right?
Right.
We can say it, but no one
All
else
day.
can. That's right.
Wow, this was awesome. Know that this is number 10 in this series, and it evolves from, oh no, what are you doing? Oh no, what are you doing? To listening to people confidently move forward.
Yeah.
And I believe our dance community is better off. Yeah, we could have done without the blow, but I see a sense of community like I have never seen before in dance.
This will be our greatest blessing. We just don't know it yet.
Right.
I agree. And one thing that I know about this is but I want to say this the right way. All the years of saying those preschool and those recreational kids and your community that you create within your school is the most important, not the accolades your school has received. I sit here as a man who's kind of preached it at the top of my lungs, and I go, isn't it funny? Here we are, and here is the shining example of why that's important.
Yes, but also you were a very accomplished dancer. You were Mr. Dance of America, so you did it all. So we're not looking at a gentleman that is saying that because he wasn't good enough to get it. So I always have to throw that out there because people think you're anti-competition, you're anti-blah, blah, blah. But you're not. You're actually not. But you find value in dancers that just want to move. And I think that's so cool.
Honestly, that's funny that you should say that. No, I was inspired by dance competition growing up, for those who may be listening and think I'm anti-competition.
He's not.
The best way to say it is that it's a part of what we do. It can't be all that we do.
Thank you.
And
My money is made off of my once-a-weekers. My competition students cost me money.
Understood. And I think that it's at this time that we can look at our intensive kids, because you know I like to use that word more than I like to use the word competition. And we're going to see certain kids shine that we may not have noticed before, because they're going to shine in ways of being kind and supportive and good people. And we can't, when we're trying to make great dancers, we're not always noticing that. And that I'm grateful for this time. We're going to notice the human qualities that make a good kid, as well as the good dancers. What do you think of that?
I totally agree.
I agree.
We've actually done service projects throughout all this. We've kept our service society going, and I think that's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
And people would drop stuff at the studio, and legally in North Carolina, I'm the only person that can enter my building without a criminal misdemeanor. So I can go in that building and pull in those things. And we've been feeding a school of children that don't have money for food. So we pack little backpacks, and I send them their little Miller Street string bags, because I had them in stock. I pulled them out of the prop house, and we fill them full of food. So the parents delivered food. Like, I mean, we're still at it. We're collecting bottle caps. We're making, and this is something great for everyone out there. Have your children do Zooms on making cards for the elderly. I sit and talk to them as we make cards. I figured out I have the drawing ability of a 6-year-old. It's fine. They'll think the sweetest little 6-year-old drew the card that I'm sending in. It's horrible, but it is love, and it's really heartfelt. But I'm going to have hundreds of cards, and I'm going to send these little warriors out into these rest homes when these poor people can finally see people. Do you think that I'm going to flip their wigs with that? They are going to be so excited to finally have people. And that is what this is all about. They're going to go and do a little tap dance that's not together, and they're just going to look crazy but cute, and they're going to give them cards, and these people are going to be living their very best life.
Wow, I think that's probably a good way to close this. But I will say on that, you said, talking about recitals and living your best life, to all of you, like Michelle, who may be running a couple numbers at a time, or Debbie, know that the kids are not going to be together this year. You're going to have to put them out on the stage, and you're just going to have to love them, because they're all going to be in their living room. Their mother's going to be saying, no, your arm's up here. And the brother's going to be saying, no, your arm's out here. And this is going to be a show that, like Michelle just said, is about love, is about survival, really.
Be the best one yet.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
How about that? What if we told everybody who is watching tonight to think of this one as the best one yet? And I'll give you even a couple reasons why that might be. You don't have to stress out. Nobody's worried about if everything's clean or the choreography is great or nobody's going to care. They're just going to love the fact that you all survived and put this show on.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
How cool is that? You guys, thank you so much for cheering us all up tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rhee.
No problem.
Thank you.
Good luck, everybody.
Be
Give
healthy.
everybody a good night, a Tuesday good night, everyone. And we'll see you tomorrow.